used. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Dave Wilson of Results Staffing, and welcome back, everybody. Today we have again Dr. Artemis Morris. She's a leader in the integrative medicine and author and educator of Speaking How to Keep Your Family Protected. I got it this time. See how you doing, Dr. Artemis?
I'm doing really well, thank you.
And Joanne Paprick, she's down there of Legal Shield.
Hello, everyone.
All right. Today we're gonna talk a couple subjects, and the first question I have for you, is Dr. Artemis, is what is a basic supplement plan you could recommend to your patients to stay healthy?
Excellent question, because at this point, many of us are being exposed, and there are many asymptomatic cases. What asymptomatic means is that some people have had COVID-19, don't have a lot of symptoms. How do we keep our immune system very strong? And there's a basic plan that I share with my patients that I'm going to share with you today. Okay. And one basic part of it is a multivitamin. So I have some different kinds that, I like, and there's so many choices. And I find the hardest part of my job as a naturopathic physician is choosing the right multivitamin for someone. So in general, if you're looking for a multi, I have some suggestions that are on the bottom of the screen that people could go on. But I would recommend speaking to, with a naturopathic physician, and then I do consults as well for what's specific. But in general, unless you need iron, it should be without iron. The reason that is iron is what the viruses and bacteria use in order to replicate. So, get a multivitamin. It should be a highly absorbable form. It should be without iron unless you need iron. And then it should also have good amounts of certain nutrients that we're all hearing about right now.
Right.
Good for the immune system, good levels of zinc, optimal levels of zinc, vitamin C, vitamin A in the form of beta carotene and carotenoids. Those are the forms of vitamin A that do not clog up the liver, because, the fat soluble vitamins, vitamin A, D, E, and K, those are stored in the liver. So you want to have optimal levels of those nutrients, B vitamins, some good vitamin D in it. So a good basic multi is a good start.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah. And then in addition to that, you want to have essential fatty acids. Now, this is the good fats. This is the kind that you get from wild-caught salmon, from halibut, mackerel, sardines. I don't know about you guys, but I store it up on sardines packed in olive oil. That's one way to get them. Lovely part of the Mediterranean diet. The other way to get it, because good quality fish is expensive, and we do have an issue now where our fish is being overfished, and so there's a lot of toxins in the water, which may or may not be a part of why we're in this situation in the first place. Toxicity. So a good quality fish oil is essential. And there's a reason it's called an essential fatty acid. It's because we need to make it every day for our body. It's good for our brain. It's good for our metabolism. There was even a study that showed that 1,000 milligrams of EPA, a type of omega-3, was just as effective as Prozac for mild to moderate depression in a study from New Zealand and Australia. So it's going to be good for your brain. And it also, many people, are stressed, some mood disorders, very common. Nobody knows for sure what's going on. That is very stressful. So having a good quality fish oil in part of the plan is important. And there are a lot of bad quality fish oils out there. So, like I mentioned with my patients, I make sure that I only recommend physician quality supplements that are third party tested. So it's someone else is looking to see if it has toxins in it. So there are a lot of choices, and you want to make sure it doesn't interact with your medication. Most of the times it's not, but you do want to make sure that. So we've got multi, we've got our fish oil. And the other thing is that you want to have optimal levels of vitamin D. So vitamin D, it's another fat soluble vitamin. We get it from sunshine. So East Coasters, sorry, you're not getting enough D. Even in Florida, I've had patients, coming up from Florida, they're still not getting enough D in many cases. So what you want to do is have optimal levels of vitamin D. For most people, that's anywhere between 400 IUs to 2,000 IUs. But there's a clinical study out there on high doses of vitamin D that's used, just for a short period of time in helping with promoting a healthy immune system to fight the virus, to fight influenza, to fight the common cold. So there is a clinical study out there on high dose vitamin D for COVID-19 out of Spain right now.
Okay.
So,
I have Jamie, do you have any questions that you'd like to watch? I see you're watching. And Pete, does anybody have any questions that they'd like to ask? I'm sorry we're all trying to look at the messages here. And
in the meantime, I'll take my vitamin D.
Yeah, see? So Jamie, Pete, if you have any questions, please ask. And I'm sorry about that. I think there's a little of a delay somewhat, but Joanne, do you have something? And I'll let you know if somebody asks a question.
I do have a question. I'm taking notes while you're talking, Dr. Artemis. What about someone who has like special needs? Someone like me who has SVT. And for anyone who doesn't know what that is, I just supraventricular tachycardia where my heart goes fast, so I can't have anything with caffeine. So, what would you say for someone like me?
So thank you for asking that question, Joanne, because the hallmark of a really good integrative practitioner, a naturopath, a functional medicine doctor that knows what they're talking about, is that they individualize. So it gets a good quality, physician quality supplement and individualizes it. So for you, I would make sure you have enough magnesium in that vitamin. Make sure it's in the right form. The fish oils are essential. So another reason why the essential fatty acids or the fish oils are really important is because they protect your heart. And there's a test I do for a brain health program that I offer my patients that shows that if you can get to the highest levels of omega-3 fatty acids in your blood, you reduce your risk of all-cause mortality by 50%, according to one study. So it's really important for pregnant mamas, prevents asthma, allergies in kids. So, I would definitely make sure that I'm getting you at a higher dose of omega-3s, make sure that magnesium's in there. I'd probably add some coenzyme Q10 in a form that you can absorb. Make sure, so still a specific multi for you, the essential fatty acids, vitamin D, and probably add some heart protective supplements as well. And then, one thing that I have as part of my basic protocol is also a probiotic. And, when you think about heart disease, a lot of people don't think probiotics, but certain bacteria, these are the good bacteria in our soil, in our environment. They support our immune system. They act as natural antivirals by helping to produce something called inflammasomes in our immune system cascade. So I would make sure that we're doing the right probiotics for you too, because that also helps with blood pressure. And, what I heard this morning on the news from a doctor in talking on about the hospital situation in New York. So the current medication, the hydrochloroquine combined with the antibiotic is something that people are trying. And, the problem with that is the side effect is, what's called a prolonged QT or an issue with people with cardiac arrhythmias. So, there's always a risk involved with any medication. You want to look at the risk benefit. And right now, of course, we're so grateful to our medical practitioners that are doing these clinical trials. They're at the front line. They're doing what they can. And if it was an emergency situation, you do what you need to do. But at this point, the best thing that you can do in your homes is to follow a good basic protocol, good multivitamin, fish oil, vitamin D, probiotic. And, there's some other things that I could recommend, in more specificity.
I have another question, and I think this is, a lot of people probably want to know this. If you eat healthy, do you need a multivitamin?
I get that question a lot, and I'm glad you asked it, because if you asked me that question, 20 years ago, or if you asked someone that question, 50 years ago, then, the answer would be very different. And the reason why that answer would be different is because our soil currently is very deficient in nutrients. And some of the nutrients that are especially important for your immune system that helps to fight off viral infections includes selenium, the zinc that we're hearing about, vitamin C. And so if you are eating food that has a deficiency or doesn't have optimal amounts of these nutrients, you're not going to get it just from the diet, even if you eat as healthy as you can. So I absolutely recommend a good quality multivitamin to all my patients. And I was that student in medical school that thought, oh, we could just do it all through diet. But I quickly realized that, if you're talking about, just preventing rickets or beriberi, then yes, certainly. But if we're talking about, dealing with the toxins we have in our environment, if we're talking about dealing with COVID-19, where we're all being exposed, we need to keep our immune system on high alert and do the best we can, then absolutely everyone, definitely needs a specific multivitamin that's right for them. That's a really good quality. And, at the bottom of the screen, I did share one of my sites, and I am available to do more specific consults.
Yeah, we had one of the questions there, and we had mentioned to them that they could check at the bottom of the screen. I had one more question, and actually my daughter texted to me because she's not on there. She's like, Dad, example, I have 4 grandkids. She went shopping yesterday and 4 little ones, and she's by herself, and she couldn't find a lot of the food right now. There wasn't meat. It was out. So does vitamins also for the kids? I mean, let's face it. I mean, it's expensive too for single parents. Would that help also to make sure that they're getting the vitamins also besides with the food? Because if you're only going to give them chicken nuggets and spaghetti, does that help for the kids?
Yeah, that's a great question, David. And I'm also a single mother of twins. And so, who is, definitely applying for some of the same things everyone else is at this point, the PPPs and all of the things just to help keep things going. But vitamins are essential. I give my kids every day, and there's different kids, like different things. But one of the, I brought some of the things I give my kids, like a chewable vitamin C is one thing I have on hand if they get sick, a multivitamin. My kids love the little chewable fish oils here. They've loved them since they were.
They have chewable fish oil.
Yeah, and they're actually good. They're pretty good. Kids are alive, right?
Wow, chewable fish. I might like that. I mean,
yeah, you can have it too. It's fine. You
taste like
more of them.
Oh.
Can I get that from you, Dr. Artemis?
Yeah. So one of the places if you go on my website, drartemis.com, then I do have a button you can press that has different supplements, links. And I do have a favorites list under the Full Script account I have. But if you want specific advice, certainly feel free to schedule a consult. But I do have some general recommendations, and many of the things that I'm mentioning are available there. So the sprayable vitamin D is something I give my kids every day, and they're always asking.
Back that up again. What is that, sprayable?
Yeah, you can spray it. Yeah, I just had one, but I'm going to have another because I'm nowhere near the high dose vitamin D that there is.
I have to get that.
And it freshens your breath. No.
I have never seen a sprayable vitamin D.
Yeah. And this is the thing. There's a lot of supplements on the market. And so some of the sprayable, some of the chewable, some of the basic multis out there, they're not going to do anything. So when you talked about how can we make sure we're not wasting our money on supplements, the best thing you could do is consult with a naturopath that can be like, okay, you specifically need X, Y, Z. The next best thing is, I wrote this newsletter for everyone who's sitting in their homes wondering what's a good basic plan. And, and so those are all the things I went through, and on the bottom of the screen under that account, and I'm going to be posting an ebook on my website soon, but there's some good basic supplements, and I am meticulous about which companies I pick, and that's what I, studied. So, definitely don't waste your money on the marketing that's happening out there. There are specific companies that really know how to do it right.
And that's what I think right now we were talking prior is getting the right information out, correct information. Example with staffing, we're unemployment. I direct them to the person because they need to know that, like you said, I've never read the vitamin bottles. I don't go on there and read. And I think everybody's reading now. They're like, what is that? But I appreciate all this. And again, they can go right on your website that's been scanning across here. There's two, right?
Yeah, so it's under drartemis.com. That's my general website where you can, go on to make a consult, but it also includes that supplement information and that supplement advice that I'll be posting. And then I will, I'm working on an ebook on natural supplements and a natural approach to COVID-19 as well. So yeah, I'm here, and I definitely, a basic plan will do more, a lot of benefit for the general population, but you want to make sure that you're getting the good quality, and that's why I shared my site as well.
All right. I really appreciate it. Again, I enjoy doing this part as you learn. I'm still fish oil. That's what I got out of today is the fish oil chewables and the sprayable vitamin D. I'm never going to have to go outside. You can just spray it. I know my wife's going to be like, what is that? But again, if everybody would just, share this video, with your friends and family. I know we're live, but you can just share it. And I really believe I'm excited to have everybody back on again. So on that note, thank you, Joanne and Dr. Artemis, for your time. Oh, wait a minute. We have a question. I would like to know the good quality multivitamin the doctor recommends, especially the fish oil.
Yeah. So what you could do, and, you want to make sure that, you don't have any interactions. But in general, if you're not on a blood thinner or you don't have a like high iron storage disorder, you want to do a multivitamin without iron. And you can find those if you go on my website and go under, you can see on the bottom of the screen, there's a direct link to my full script, Welcome Dr. Artemis. If you go on that site, you can see what my favorites list are. And you know what I'll do, David, for your audience? I have a PDF. Could I share a PDF with you that you can?
Yeah, we can attach that to it. If you want to send that to me, I'll attach it to the link here, and that way everybody can see that.
I'll do that. I'll share my PDF that goes into details on what my favorites are. But, always make sure it's specific for you. But, with this PDF, this is what I shared with all of my patients, and I'm happy to share it with your audience.
All right. All right, everybody. I want to thank you so much. And Jamie, I hope that answered your question. And let's get together next week, and we're going to be discussing some other new subjects. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Stay well.
Bye.
Bye.
Let's see. Here we go. And